Sound Blue. Um, I'm on here. I'm actually just the other day launched my Mentor Manifesto, right? My top 25 mistakes mentor manifesto. So I've been doing daily podcasts, right? And I've been talking to people about my book, some of the things that my mentors spoke to me about and helped me to achieve the life that I want. And so, what I'm doing in this session, this YouTube video slash podcast, before I get started, is I'm going to just be going through the book and just showing you guys some of the highlights of my mental manifesto to give you guys a full synopsis of why I created the book and what has inspired me to continue to help people create the life that they want. So I'm gonna cue up the podcast and I'm gonna get this thing started. All right. What's up, gang? This is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, as well as now, guys, the Mentor Manifesto. Right. So in today's podcast, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about the book, the Mental Manifesto, man. I'm giving it away for free. That's right, for free, guys. You guys can hop on over to my website, Lieutenant Sal Blue. Click on the link, put in your email, and I'm gonna be giving away my Mental Manifesto for free. So, just giving you guys some of the insights of my Mental Manifesto and how it has allowed me to shape and mold my life to one of joy, happiness, and fulfillment. And who doesn't want that for their lives, right? So this is just me. I'm gonna be going through the book and just talking to you guys about some of the things in my book when it comes to the Mental Manifesto. So let's get started, guys. Now, um, the Mental Manifesto, it starts off right. It is called Questions That Moved My Life Forward, and that's how I started off my book. So let's talk about the introduction a little bit, right? Um, During my time of creating this book of the top 25 mistakes mentor questions, I asked myself, how would people get the most out of my book and out of life in the shortest amount of time? And that is probably my main motivator, guys. My main motivator is helping people to um, preserve the greatest asset. Your greatest asset is time, man. And if you begin to make tons of mistakes over and over again, as I've done in my life, you waste so much time. Now, granted, guys, I'm only in my 50s, so yeah, I probably have tons of time left. But um, I I know for a fact that because of all of the mistakes that I chose to make on my own, it resulted in me being set back at least 10 to 15 years when it came to creating the life that I want. And I don't want that for you guys. I mean, that is not good, right? Um, Setting yourself up to lose 10 to 15 years of your life, right? That is basically your entire childhood, right? Or your entire youth, or your entire middle age, 15 years. That's a lot of time. And so um, I created this mental manifesto because it was just some of the things that I felt that me as a second halfer in my life, who have been through tons of mistakes in my life, that it was my obligation, right? My obligation to help first halfers make it through the first half of their lives with a lot less mistakes, right? And I tell people all over the place, right? No matter what line of work you are in, there is somebody coming up right now in the beginning phases of their life, of the beginning phase of their career, of the beginning phases of their marriage or whatever journey they're partaking in, who need help. They need help. They need help from you guys because you have the experience and you've made the mistakes, right? So I try to get people to be fully transparent and just talk to people about the mistakes because two things come out of talking about your mistakes. The first thing that comes out of talking about your mistakes, it allows you to finally admit to yourself that this is a mistake that you made, and you are putting it to bed by helping other people not to make the same mistake, right? The second thing that comes out of that mistake, or you being transparent about it, is that in teaching someone else that mistake that you made, it brings actually more clarity to you to help you avoid to make other mistakes that are related to that mistake. And so that is what you guys need to do. Being fully transparent and talking to other people about your mistakes allows them to move forward. You know, um, my dad's generation and generations before him, that was the generation of secrets, right? Nobody wanted to tell anybody anything about themselves, anything that they ever done wrong, anything that was bad about them. They wanted to hide everything. And the reason being is that um, being judged by their peers uh, was, I mean, it was more than a sign of weakness, like how I talk about in law enforcement. It was more than a sign of weakness. What it was was a sign of them allowing someone else to take advantage of them. Period. So when you admitted your weaknesses during that time, you were kicked out of the group, right? You could have possibly starved to death because no one was willing to help you because of your weaknesses, because everybody wanted a strong person to carry the torch, to move ahead, to be the matriarch of the family or of the group. Nobody wanted the weak person because the weak person was like an anchor and it held everybody back, or so they thought, right? But what I found out was everybody has strengths in some form of of their life, of something that they do. Everybody has a strength, and we just have to learn how to tap into that strength. And once we learn how to tap into that strength, what we can do is learn to teach others that strength, not by just telling them what to do, but to tell them the mistakes that you made in order for you to learn your mistakes. In order for you to learn and master what you have done, right? Most of us have not mastered where we're at or mastered what we have done by not making mistakes, guys. So, not failing over and over and over again. So, why not help someone else fail less and make far less mistakes? And that is what um, began to move me when I wrote my top 25 mistakes. And after I wrote my top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, what happened to me was I felt that people needed a cliff note. I had kids graduating college right now, and so I saw how a lot of them didn't read full books, right? They went to the bookstore and they got the cliff note version of the book. And they passed the classes just as well, and they became just as successful in achieving their goals. So I wrote the book Top 25 Mistakes, and I wanted to follow up with its byproduct called the Mentor Manifesto. And it was those questions that helped me not to make all of these mistakes over and over again. See, my life would have been a life of a complete spiral out of control by making mistakes. Some mistakes that you make, guys, you can't come back from. It is very difficult to come back from. Most people, when they make far too many mistakes, they quit. They give up on life, and I don't want that to be you guys. So uh, I created my Mentor Manifesto top 25 mistakes questions that my mentor asked me. And these are questions that you must honestly answer for yourself, guys. Um, I wrote this manifesto with tons of writing space. right? I wrote it with tons of writing space. And the reason why I wrote it with tons of writing space is because this manifesto is helping you develop. It's not helping me develop. It is the questions that you need to ask yourself, right? To begin to evoke emotions. And when you evoke emotions within yourself about a question, about something that you have done or something you are not doing, right? What it does is it builds up a fire inside of you that gets you to move, right? From where you're at to where you need to be in life, right? So for me, these questions were powerful. These questions were powerful and they got me to moving. Whereas right now, I am trying to um, make up for all of the wasted time of me not seeking out the right mentors and not seeking out someone who has already achieved some of the things that I want in life. And because I didn't seek them out, I wasted a lot of time. So now I am not wasting that time. Every time I have something that I do not know what to do or how to do it, I don't beat myself in the head and try to figure out how to do it. No, I I go into my resources of people and I start to figure out who has done it, right? And how can I connect with them so that I can also learn how to do it? And that is how you get things done, guys. See, in my life, right? And my life would have been an absolute disaster, right? An absolute disaster. But because I had a mentor, right, who I didn't ask for initially, right? I was just fortunate enough that he saw something in me that he felt did not need to be wasted, right? He felt that I was an asset to to law enforcement. I was an asset to my company. I was an asset, okay, that can be utilized to help others. He saw something in me. And because he saw something in me, he was very, very hard on me. Very hard on me as a mentor. But as he became harder on me, what he realized was that I had resilience. He had been harder on other people in the past who just gave up. But what he realized was I had two things, right? I had respect for him, so I wanted to make sure that if he asked me something, I was trying to achieve it at the highest level. And number two, I had resilience. So no matter how bad he beat me up for the mistakes that I was making, okay, my desire to make it right was even greater. And that is where it kicks in at, guys. That is where you begin to achieve the life that you want. You have to have those elements in you if you're going to be seeking out a mentor, if you're going to be seeking out somebody to help you to achieve the life that you want, right? You have to be teachable, number one, and you have to have resilience, okay, to take the criticism that they give you as hard as they may pound it into you, right? Take the resilience that they give you, okay, and learn from it. Do the steps your mentor takes because you trust your mentor, right? Not that you're doing it blindly, but you trust them. They're already down that path. So because they're already down that path, guys, okay, you know that that is the path that you want to walk. So these questions that I put in my mentor manifesto, guys, um, they need to be part of your quarterly evaluation, I like to say. 4 times a year, you need to be sitting down and asking yourself these questions to make sure you are on the right track to creating the life that you want, right? Um, as I said, I was fortunate enough to have mentors that kept an eye on me. And every time I began to drift, they began to ask me a series of questions that pulled me back toward the path of the good life. And that is important, right? So you guys may not have that mentor, but what you have here in the Mentor Manifesto is the questions that will shape, guide, and mold you to create the life that you want. right? This mentor manifesto is meant for everybody, right? Everybody who wants to achieve a good life, right? And I believe that is everybody out there. And if you want to achieve a good life, and no matter what profession you're in, you have to begin to ask yourself the right questions. It is the right questions that move you forward, right? The answers to those questions come from inside of you, right? Everybody needs to learn to know themselves. And this book will help to guide you to know yourself, guys. So, as I scroll through the introduction in this video that I'm doing, as well as my podcast right now, um, I want you guys to see that these questions cannot be ignored by you if you're going to achieve a good life, right? My goal in this book is to help you have an extraordinary life. And in doing so, I'm going to have to ask you some extremely tough questions the way my mentor asked me, guys, right? This book will provide you with answers of your own life. This book will shape and mold you, and each and every individual that reads this book and answers those questions for themselves can have an extraordinary life. Um, okay, so I want you guys to make sure, right? Um, um, you bet, right, on yourself. Not only do you bet on yourself, guys, but you bet on the fact that the people who you choose to mentor you, the people who you choose to guide you, the people who you choose to be in your circle of influence, okay, are the people that will help you to create the life that you want. And so that is important as I go through this introduction. And the first part that I want to talk about, guys, in my book, The Mental Manifesto, is it's section one, and that is the building of a purpose. Before I get into anything when it comes to this book, right? You need to have a strong purpose. And I'll read this from this book verbatim, guys. Listen, in any undertaking in life, there comes a point where you are either moving forward or you are losing ground. You need a strong purpose to stop you from doing just that. This begins with people who know better asking you questions that will make the difference in how your life turns out. These are questions, right, that move me from the mindset of the masses to moving forward daily while living the good life on my terms. Although these questions were addressed to me by my mentors over the years, they apply to everyone trying to have an overall joyous life, guys. So there you go. Just reading that verbatim just starts you guys on the right track of what it means to have a purpose, right? So the first thing my mentor asked me, and let's get that thing out. Write your name on the list, right? Write your name there and say, why do you do what you do? Right? This is important. This is important to pay attention to because guys, right? Why you do what you do is your purpose. It is what drives you. It is something out there emotionally that drives you, right? Something that gets you out of bed each and every day, and you need to know what it is. And so I left in this manifesto a whole page, guys, for you to write why you do what you do. Note to yourself, this is one of those questions that will define why you are on your journey and why you will continue on that journey no matter what obstacles you come up against. This will take some thought and will probably change many times throughout your life. So find your why and go all in, guys. Right? So in this manifesto, I ask you guys to take this space that I have right here and write down why you do what you do. Okay? Um, it is key and it is important, guys. Um, it is part of your growth. And part of your growth is understanding your why, and it is understanding your purpose. So listen guys, this video and my podcast is only like 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes at the most long. So it is one more thing that I want to talk about in my Mentor Manifesto before I let you guys go until tomorrow's session. And is, who do you see yourself as, and how does it relate to others? Okay. This is a man in the mirror thing, man. Who do you see yourself as? Who do you think you are? Right? Because I'll tell you what, who you think you are will determine how far you believe that you can reach when it comes to reaching your goals. That's right. Reaching your goals starts with belief, guys. Um, it's not another skill that you need to learn. It's not another book that you need to read. It's not another mentor that you need to have, right? It is a belief in yourself of how you see yourself. Who do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as a failure, right? Because you failed at a few things? No, that's just an event, right? Do you see yourself as a loser? You know, maybe you had divorces or bankruptcy or something like that, and so you see yourself as that. No, those are just things that have happened in the course of your life, guys. Okay. I heard someone say a long time ago, I think it was Mel Robbins. She said, "Make your mess your message," right? And so, in making your mess your message, it is one of the premises of the Mental Manifesto, guys. When you begin to learn yourself and you look at those mistakes as just events, I see them as teachable moments. Teachable moments that you can show someone else how not to make that same mistake, which in turn, right, helps you, okay, when it comes to creating the life that you want. Okay, the more you learn, the more you do, the more you teach, the more you move forward. And then you got to constantly fail forward if you have to, guys. But every time you fail, make sure you teach someone else that lesson so they don't make that same mistake. You know, it's not about what they can do because everybody succeeds at a different level doing different things. But it is very important that you teach somebody how not to fail, how not to walk down a certain path, how not to do something that will assure them that they will have a bad life. And I'm not talking about like don't start a business. I'm talking about major things that you did in your life that caused you to have grief and pain, right? Those are things that help people to move forward. Showing them your emotions behind it will cement in their mind that they personally do not want to have that type of pain in their lives, and that will put in their heads the lesson that they need to learn not to walk down that certain path, not to go down that alleyway, not to venture down that street, not to go to that certain place. Okay, that certain place that brought you pain, that certain habit that created a bad life for you when you were having a bad life. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Listen, my Mentor Manifesto is launched. Make sure you guys click on the link that I'm going to leave in the description so you guys can get my Mentor Manifesto for free, as well as guys, check it out. I am going to be having tons of stuff. I'm gonna have my audiobook up on my website. I'm going to have my top 25 mistakes en route to the good life up on my website for you guys. So make sure you guys check out my website, lieutenantsoundblue.com, and I'm going to put the link in the description. Also, guys, check me out on my Facebook page, Top 25 Mistakes. Um, and we're second halfers help first halfers to create the life that they want, right? Through transparency. That's right. That's how we do it on the Top 25 Mistakes Facebook page. So check me out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, guys. And that is it for today, man. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Listen, before I wrap it up, man, I want to tell you guys something, right? I was not enthusiastic about today's podcast, right? I just had that bad feeling, right? That was my ego telling me not to do it. Put it off. You don't have to do it today. And what you have to learn how to do, guys, is you have to learn how to fight through your emotions if you're going to have a good life, right? Your emotions are they're liars, right? A lot of times our emotions are liars. They lie to us and tell us that we don't want to do something when deep down in our hearts we truly do want to give of ourselves. We truly do want to give value and we truly do want to live the life that we want to live. And a lot of times, out of exhaustion or out of just a lack of knowledge, right? Our emotions try to stop us from moving forward. And so I have to tell you guys, you can't be ruled by your emotions, right? You have to be moved by your purpose and you have to be moved by your why. So that's it for today, man. Lieutenant Sound Blue is signing off. Make sure you guys check me out on my podcast on Spotify. And pretty soon I'm gonna start my own little green room, top 25 mistakes, where I'm gonna interview tons of people and hopefully help them have a good life. All right. So I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night. Deuces.